This is what happens when you find yourself on the wrong end of a defamation suit. It would seem as if this judge is actually getting really tired of Rudy Giuliani. Why? Because he just held him in contempt of court. Now, if you remember, there was a defamation lawsuit that was put forward for about $148 million that he lost to Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. All of this controversy because of what he called his First Amendment rights. If you remember that this is the exact same man that in this case with these Georgia election workers made the claim that he had a First Amendment right to lie.
To Georgia, and I'm feeling very, very good about it because I feel like I'm defending the rights of all Americans, as I did so many times as a United States attorney.
Well, Giuliani is really trying to tread a line here legally that is quite complicated, and the way that he's doing it is that he's saying in court, after being sued for defamation by two Georgia election workers, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, who say that the statements he made about them really hurt them in a lot of ways. He's saying that, yes, he concedes that he made the statements about them, that those statements were false and defamatory, but he's saying it so that he can get on to other parts of this lawsuit and still wants to argue that what he was saying about the election in Georgia after the 2020 vote, about vote fraud there, about these election workers, that is constitutionally protected speech, and also that he shouldn't have to pay any damages to these women because what he was saying specifically wasn't damaging to them.
His logic was that his speech, it wasn't directly damaging to them. Giuliani in this instance thought his speech was protected. It isn't. In this instance, you actually cannot make those kind of statements against people. Yeah, it turns out you can't do that.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
So Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, they sued, they won. $148 million later, this is the payment. Now, Rudy has been given the court one hell of a time in terms of making this payment, all the way down to claiming that he doesn't have this money, he's broke, he's going to have to try to file bankruptcy.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
But in the statement I made earlier and what's being reported, he was just found in contempt of court. Why? Because it turns out he's been hiding assets. Who didn't know this?
Oh, don't look so shocked.
Tonight in a courtroom showdown, a judge found Rudy Giuliani in contempt of court after failing to hand over assets to settle a defamation case. This all stems from his false accusations against two Fulton County election workers, which led to a $148 million judgment. A federal judge in New York said Giuliani didn't fully comply with court orders to provide documents and personal items, including watches and sports memorabilia to cover the debt. Giuliani argued he couldn't comply due to ongoing legal battles. His Florida property, including a condo and World Series rings, are now being closely examined.
So it turns out that he hasn't been 100% honest with the assets that he's currently in possession of. And believe me, I completely understand where he's coming from, because these would be hard possessions to get rid of, including but not limited to 26 designer watches, a 1980 Mercedes-Benz convertible, a 10-room apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and of course, because he was the former mayor of New York, it makes perfect sense that he's currently in possession of a lot of New York Yankees memorabilia, including a signed frame Joe DiMaggio jersey. Imagine having to part ways with that collector's item. So yada yada yada, January 16th, he's due back in court just before Donald Trump takes the Oval Office. And the reason being is because he wants to argue that his Palm Beach location should be off limits. Even though all the while he hasn't really provided any documentation that he's actually currently residing there on a regular basis. Courts may be strict, but they don't really want to put you on the streets. And all the while, the judge's claim of what Rudy's really trying to do is basically, well, just run out the clock. But yeah, seems he's not having it. What do y'all think though? Should they begin the process where they just start stripping him bare, taking everything until he has absolutely nothing? Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
The lies Rudy Giuliani told about me and my mommy after the 2020 presidential election have changed our lives. And the past few years has been devastating. The flame that Giuliani lit with those lies and passed to so many others to keep that flame blazing changed every aspect of our lives.
Rudy Giuliani was not the only one who spread lies about us, and others must be held accountable too. But that is tomorrow's work. For now, I want people to understand this. Money will never solve all of my problems. I can never move back into the house that I called home. I will always have to be careful about where I go and who I choose to share my name with.
Or maybe you actually agree with Rudy Giuliani that he wasn't actually lying. He wasn't trying to defame anyone. He was just speaking truth. He was just speaking facts, and these things needed to be proven. Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you again on the next one. Be easy, y'all.
Tonight in a courtroom showdown, a judge found Rudy Giuliani in contempt of court